It began with a single gunshot in Sarajevo, 1914. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, was assassinated. That shot was the spark, but Europe was already a powder keg. Nations armed, alliances tangled, and rivalries fierce. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Russia backed Serbia. Germany sided with Austria-Hungary. France and Britain joined in. What started as a local conflict exploded into a global war, soon called the Great War. No one expected the scale. More than 30 countries drawn in, fighting across Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and beyond. The war toppled empires, created new nations, and introduced terrifying new weapons. It was the first truly modern war, and it changed the world forever. The world of 1914, of empires and optimism, vanished almost overnight. The war would last 4 years, from 1914 to 1918, leaving scars that still shape our world. The impossible became reality. Millions sent to die in muddy fields, the world order shattered. The Great War was not just a conflict. It was the end of an era and the birth of a new, uncertain age. Humanity had never seen destruction on this scale. The world would never be the same. The war split Europe into two main alliances. The Central Powers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria, ambitious, powerful, and determined to reshape the world. Opposing them, the Allied powers, France, Britain, and Russia, later joined by Italy, Japan, and crucially, the United States. Each side believed victory would be swift, but the conflict dragged on, drawing in soldiers from across the globe. The entry of the US in 1917 tipped the balance, bringing fresh troops and resources to the exhausted Allies. The war became truly global, with battles fought on land, sea, and in the air. Colonies and dominions, Canada, Australia, India, Africa, sent men to fight far from home. The alliances turned a regional crisis into a world war. World War I unleashed new horrors on the battlefield. The machine gun made old tactics deadly, forcing armies into trenches for survival. Poison gas, first used by Germany, choked, blinded, and terrified soldiers, breaking the rules of war. Tanks, invented by the British, rumbled across no man's land, crushing barbed wire and fear alike. Airplanes, once for scouting, became machines of war, bombing, dogfighting, and changing the sky forever. The war's technology turned battlefields into industrial slaughterhouses. Soldiers faced death from above, below, and all around. The psychological toll was immense. Nowhere felt safe. The tools of war had changed, and so had the meaning of courage and survival. The world learned that technology could destroy as easily as it could build. To survive, soldiers dug trenches, hundreds of miles of mud, filth, and fear. Life underground meant endless waiting, sudden terror, and constant danger. Going over the top into no man's land was a near-suicidal charge through barbed wire and machine gun fire. Conditions were appalling. Waterlogged trenches, disease, rats, lice, and the ever-present stench of death. Trench foot, shell shock, and relentless bombardment broke bodies and minds. The Western Front became a symbol of futility. Millions died for a few yards of ground. The psychological wounds were as deep as the physical ones. Shell shock, what we now call PTSD, was rampant, misunderstood, and often untreated. The trenches were a world of misery, but also of endurance and camaraderie. Soldiers endured the unendurable, forging bonds in the mud and chaos. The trenches defined the war's horror and its humanity. The scars of trench warfare would last a lifetime. By 1918, the Central Powers collapsed, starved, exhausted, and defeated. On November 11th, the guns fell silent. The Great War was over. The Treaty of Versailles punished Germany, redrew borders, and shattered old empires. New nations emerged: Poland, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia. The cost was staggering: over 20 million dead, another 20 million wounded. An entire generation lost, economies ruined, and societies traumatized. The war's legacy was bitterness, revolution, and the seeds of future conflict. The war to end all wars solved little. Its shadow loomed over the 20th century. The world's optimism was gone, replaced by anxiety and uncertainty. The Great War changed how people saw war, government, and humanity itself. It was a turning point, a tragedy that shaped the modern world.